Hey guys, welcome to another installment of my Blast Beat album reviews where I go over 3 or 4 albums that I've been listening to that I didn't think quite warranted a full album review on their own, but I try to make the review a little compact and pack it up for you guys to fit 4 albums in one review. I try to keep it straight to the point, and today we're talking about 2 women in the metal community to see what they're up to, and we also touch on a softer album as well, so let's check it out. Ritual is the 2017 release from the hard rock metal band In This Moment, headed by the very beautiful Maria Brink. I've been a big fan of these guys since their debut album grabbed my attention with their track Beautiful Tragedy. A big characteristic of Ritual is making a lot of callbacks to classic rock music. There's a song that's called Black Wedding, which takes a lot of influence from White Wedding by Billy Idol. They do a cover of In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. The band also uses a lot of what I might call chant music elements, maybe native music might be a better way to describe it, but just these minimalist percussion instrumentation sections that really help personify the Ritual feeling. I'm not gonna lie, it's obvious that they've used a lot of radio rock influence on this album, which creates a lot of lulls throughout, like in the song Joan of Arc, but they also keep their goth metal vibe on a lot of the tracks, which is what I think keeps me coming back to them. Overall, not my favorite album from them. I do yearn for more screaming from Maria Brink, as beautiful as her singing is, because she's just fucking fantastic at screaming also. But there are some gems on this record, like River of Fire and Half God, Half Devil. I couldn't have been more excited to check out another metal band headed by a female, so I went and checked out Swedish band Arch Enemy's release, Will to Power. Now, they could be characterized as maybe power metal, melodic death metal, but they definitely span the spectrum of metal in general. Unlike Maria from In This Moment, Alyssa, the lead singer of Arch Enemy, screams most of the time. There's some melodic singing, and it's usually used as like backing vocals. And to be quite honest, I'm not a big fan of her screaming vocals. It doesn't really do it for me. Really find it off-putting and kind of distracts from the amazing musicality in this band. They're great at songwriting, they have amazing guitar parts, a lot of solos spread throughout this album. So in those regards, though it's unfair to compare In This Moment and Arch Enemy, I do lean more as a fan of In This Moment because of those reasons. Like I said, aside from the vocals, the songwriting is godly at times. They have Jeff Loomis, famed guitarist, at their utilization right now. The opening riff on this album just had me hooked like a fisherman on a Sunday afternoon. Some tasty guitar work, punchy drums, and superb song structure really hold this album up for me, even though the production on it might not be the most impressive. Expect a lot of power, death, and technical metal on this one. I'd recommend going out and checking out First Day in Hell and The Eagle Flies Alone. Novelists are a progressive metal, metalcore, post-hardcore hybrid from France that you really won't regret looking into. Their new album Noir is pretty much an hour of that progressive yummy goodness. God, that was like the most unmetal way of describing this album. This album will throw things at you that you did not expect, like a, spoiler alert, saxophone solo in the second track, Monochrome, just interjecting some jazz in there for you, and they have a rapping section on track 7, Strange Yourself. They just come at you from all angles with Noir. I know this is gonna sound cliche in the realm of progressive metal music, but there are periphery vibes sprinkled all throughout this record, especially in the last track, Healed a Wound, which is a perfect ending to the album, by the way. Man, this is just such a huge album to try and dissect in so little time. I rarely found myself bored with this album. The production is great, it's punchy, it's clear, it's in your face. The vocalist is really talented. I'm impressed with both his regular singing and his screaming vocals. Lyrics are great. There's a line in their song, The Light the Fire, that I really dig, where it goes, "My soul weeps an ocean I can't seem to drain. I'm drowning in these waters. Sink as deep as I can sink." Novelists fire on all cylinders with Noir, so I think any heavy music fan should definitely give them a go, starting with A Bitter End or Under Different Welkins. Even after 16 years of experience, indie, alt, soft rock band The National are still going strong with their new release, Sleep Well Beast. The band had a huge task ahead of them to follow up their amazingly successful 2013 release, Trouble Will Find Me, which birthed the highly successful single, I Need My Girl. Though the band has a really melancholic feeling already, Sleep Well Beast has an even more tragic feeling to it, and I think there's a lot more electronic music evident on this record than their last couple of ones. For anyone unfamiliar with the band, I think you definitely need to be in a certain mood to listen to them. If you just pop this thing on in the car or at a party, you're definitely going to kill the mood. And we all know you don't want to be known as the major buzzkill. Similar bands that I can think of off the top of my head are like Arcade Fire or Sufjan Stevens or Horrible Crows, although Horrible Crows, and a lot of people might not have heard of those guys. But if you haven't listened to them, check them out, but I digress. You will discover lyrics about broken relationships, kind of wallowing in nihilism and pessimism. But as long as you go in knowing that and expecting that, you're not going to be disappointed at all. These guys do a good job of trailing the line between a lot of genres, stretching from slight country nuances to like new wave influences. Personally, I think that as a traditional The National fan, you can go in expecting an album from The National. And if you're a newcomer with the right expectations, listening in like a chilled out, relaxing environment, I think that there's a lot that you'll find to appreciate about this album. Alright guys, that's it for this week's Blast Beat album review. Just my thoughts on a couple of records that I've been listening to help you decide what to listen to next. 3 of the albums that I talked about today are coming out this week, so some fresh, new music to go listen to. This is a newer segment on the channel, but you can expect one every week along with a full-fledged album review. Like I said, my next full album review is going to be on the Ghost Inside's Dear Youth, which was chosen by my contest winner. Go check out the channel. You'll find videos explaining all of that. So I'll keep doing these Blast Beat album reviews as long as I have a backlog in the back of my head of music that I want to try and get to and talk about. Let me know what you guys think of these albums and what you're listening to this week. Subscribe, like, share the video, buy the albums in the description if you like them, and just thanks for watching, guys. Rock on.